Well, I tripped into that room. There was a bucket in the way, and it hit my shin. And the first 2 or 3 times it left a bruise because Toby wanted to keep the bucket in. We reshot that scene 13 times. So by the end of the day, I had blood coming from my leg, and it was horribly bruised. But I think they got that shot right. I was in school, and I was in plays, and I was doing a play with a fellow named Frank Sutton. He had a comedy series with a guy named Gomer. It was Gomer Pyle, Jim Navers. So they saw my picture in the paper and asked me to come and audition. I did, and then I auditioned again. And then a friend of mine said, "Well, do you want to do it?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know what this thing, And then I said, "Oh, well, I might as well." So I called them, and I called Ken, and I said, "Hi, I'd really like the role." And he said, "Okay, why don't you wear some short shorts down tonight?" So I rode my bicycle over. It was in Austin, and they gave me the role.
Hitchhiker.
Should we pick him up?
Oh, yeah, man. Pick him up. He'll asphyxiate out there.
What does he look like?
They just said it was a horror film about these kids traveling, and they meet up with a strange family. They didn't really elaborate. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure I got a script until we met. I'm not even sure. I think then we did, but a lot of it was just ad-lib.
What smells?
What is that stench?
Roll up the window.
Hey, that's your slaughterhouse.
We did our own internal work, and, Bill and I decided that we were kind of secretly married, probably, and, we just didn't want to tell anybody because it was such an unpleasant trip, and we were just waiting for a time to, be away and be alone. Unfortunately, we didn't get that opportunity. But, we worked together, and we sat around under a nice peach tree and ate peaches and traded turns in the hammock and tried to stay cool all the time,
Let's go!
At the time, I was really trying to protect my ass because I came out that day and I looked and I said to Toby, "What do you have the camera under the swing? You told me I'm going to sit in the swing. Why is the camera, it's slats?" And he's, "Oh, Teri, don't worry about it. Just, let's go ahead and shoot this, So for about 40 minutes, I'm so, well, you can't, because I'm thinking of my mother seeing this film. This is 1970, whatever, too. And, I don't want anything to show those cheeks. Anyway, about 40 minutes later, I sat down on the swing and I did it. And I got up and I started walking toward the house, and I think it's a very effective shot. I think it's a truly effective shot. I have to be perfectly candid. I never appreciated it until now. When I first went to see it, and I was sitting low in the movie theater with my nephew and 5,000 screaming children, having not seen my work, I was, And then I saw in CinemaScope and Technicolor my cheeks right in the screen, and I was completely horrified for years. Horrified. I actually pretended I think that it wasn't in there or something, and skipped onto the meat hook thing, And that was fine because everybody skipped with me, So that's what I'm laughing now because now I think it's great. Put it back up there. I got there to do the scenes with Gunnar, and when we started those, we did them for about a day and a half, 2 days. And by the time that we had finished, I had lost my voice entirely. I had to have just a shot of Jack Daniels or something just to continue to get the 343,000th take that they needed. Each angle 32 times, each shot, 64 times, 39, 45. So you fight a 300, and at that time Gunnar was over 300. He was a very big man, and there was, if someone thought I was going to get away from him, they had it completely wrong, because I think that's what also adds to that scene, is the fact that I almost get away. You see me run away even, and you think, well, she got away once. Maybe she can, and you put your own self in the thought of, what if I were trapped by a serial killer? What if I were trapped? Anyone turns to that thought. And it was brutal. I couldn't walk after that day. When they told me I was going to be on a meat hook and what the whole scene would be, I thought about it for quite, days, weeks, whatever. And I just decided that the most effective way to do it would be so that I wasn't so injured that I couldn't try to move or get off the hook. I thought it would be still realistic, just in that it hadn't gone to, hadn't gotten me in the right place. And so I just thought, it must be painful. They'd been working on some ideas using parachute strapping, foam, putting the hook up from the back of me just so it was above my shorts, because it was a backless outfit. And they used one of the rings from parachute strapping, with the parachute strapping. And then to go under the costume, they had a pair of women's hose, and we pinned them in. So basically what happened was Toby was underneath, spotting me for when Gunnar, and they were very careful, I have to say. People have always said, oh, they weren't, and there were rumors, and that's not true at all. Although there was a lot of pain in the previous scenes. This particular scene, they were very cautious, and it didn't take that long. It took maybe a day at the most to do the whole thing, with Bill there and, the different takes. And that was a very freaky scene to shoot. Really freaky. And then when I saw what they had done with the editing, how they had my bare back coming toward that hook, and then you show the frontal where I drop, and I can remember that when we stopped shooting that scene, everyone was standing in this tiny room. It was just a tiny room. And I remember there was a dead silence, and people were very moved, It was extreme. It had a lot of impact on all of us. And I think that everybody thought, ooh, this is going to be... I don't think there had been a woman on the meat hook before that. I'm not sure, but that's the way I remember things. I know I had dinner with Rod Steiger once, and my friend said, oh, you and Teri have a lot in common. I went, shh. But anyway, I know Rod was on a meat hook. What happened was they couldn't get the dry ice to work. And so it was supposed to be a deep freeze, and it's 114 degrees in the shade. So they had me inside. I had a Coke bottle down below, right down below, and they had me puffing on a cigarette, trying to cook up some smoke so that when they opened the thing that you'd see some sort of smoke. And so I'd hear Toby, okay, Teri, you think it's all filled up there, or whatever he said. And I go, I think so. And so they'd open the thing, and then he said he wanted me to, and I always was completely, this looks so silly, silly. But then when I was in the audience came unglued because they thought that she was dead. So it worked beautifully. Again, I was wrong. It was getting to be really spooky at this point because I wasn't really prepared. And so I have to say that was getting to be frightening. And then everything began to be very real. So I actually was beginning to think, well, this thing might be working, but I hadn't seen I never saw any of the rushes. I never saw any till, I saw the film. So really we were doing it in the dark, I would say to you, and blind faith, just praying that things would work, and putting every ounce of energy we had into getting it right. We were all very committed, and I still think that Bill's death scene is fantastic. I always never forget when his leg moved right after. The only thing I would have done, I think I would have had Bill and I doing a scene that would have shown us to be really sweet and loving with one another. Just a short scene, just a scene where we're 3 lines kissing or something that would have been, I think it would have, and I think with Jerry's and Sally's character, it would have also made the impact all the greater to have, then the next scene to see me hanging on a meat hook, him being cut up, it would have, I just think, made such an impact, But that having been said, I also think that the meat hook scene was edited beautifully. And it was, I think, I liked it. I still like it. I think it's good. I didn't watch it for years and years and years. I put the whole thing in a drawer. To be honest with you, the film didn't do me any good for about probably 15 years. If you went for a stage audition, they would look at you and say, "The what?" And this would matter to me because, and you were, nobody really, I think it did Toby and Kim a lot of good. I think technically, it was just really in the circles. It was great for them. But as far as the actors and for the cast, it didn't work for me. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I just decided to move on with my life. So while I was in New York, I did a lot of leg and foot modeling, which was very good. And I also did more print and different things like that for years, more stage. And then I started doing flowers, and I really loved doing the flowers. So I did that for years and years, and I had my own business. It was just a custom floral business, but there was a lot of creativity involved, and it took up all of my time. And so I stayed with that. And then recently they called me to come out because people wanted to meet me and talk or whatever. And I had more time in my life. My life was more my own. I was able to adjust my schedule around things. And so I decided to go ahead and come out. People seem to want to talk. And I actually just went to Monster Mania. And it was so fun. And the fans were so cute. People coming up with me tattooed on their arms and their legs and other body parts. And, they were so cute. And getting to see Marilyn and Ed and Gunnar and Alan and Bill was, it was great to see everybody.
Oh, no. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. There are moments when we cannot believe that what is happening is really true. Pinch yourself and you may find out that it is.
I think it's great. I think it's really fun to go to these conventions now. I'm enjoying it so much. I meet trembling young men who bring me their picture, and I take their hands and I say, "Darling, how are you?" And I ask them, "What's your name?" And they're so dear, but I want them to understand. It's just me. And I enjoy it. The girls too, all the kids, families. We get families, entire families that come up. So it's great. I'm enjoying it a lot.